Hello and welcome to the bonus Patreon video for my Daylight Savings heart attack video. It's now the next day. I filmed it last night and I'm sat back in the same spot here. So actually, you know what? Let's swing it around a little bit. Now it's behind the scenes. Look at that. That's the edge. And I'm sat in a chair. I've had to rearrange this room at the moment because I'm attempting to get a new backdrop and everything, but that's for later. So I'm sat in a chair, bit less space, and I've finally finished writing my book. And so this is slightly different bonus content because in the main video I mentioned that my book Humble Pie is out and available for pre-order. Oh, if you haven't watched the main video, I'll have a link to it in the Patreon post this is in and in the description to this video, so you can check that out first. But I flag up that this book is now available for pre-order and ask people very nicely to pre-order it, because if they do, the statistics are really useful for Penguin, my publishers, and the bookshops, and they decide which books to stock and how much to promote them based on how the pre-sales are going. Publishing is a weird world. Anyway, pre-sales, super useful, and so I mentioned that, but I thought I would offer a gift to people who buy the book in advance, and I'm going to make it available to people on Patreon first. So in short, this wall next to me is where I used to have all my post-it notes when I was writing my book. So when I write a book, I have a system where I put one concept per post-it note and I stick them all over a wall. And actually I've got some footage I took before I took them all down, and because there's one concept per post-it note, I can move them around, rearrange them, put them into chapters. I've got, like, the angle I stick them on is if the concept's been used yet or not used, and all these things. And so actually here they are. I've since taken them all off. They're in order, starting from chapter 0, the intro. And then every single one of these, let's just go in the middle somewhere. There we are. Jet Airline Square Windows. That's legible. There we go. And so that didn't make it in the book. There's a thing about early jet aircraft had square-shaped windows, and this was allegedly a math mistake. I looked into it. Sadly, it's not. Very interesting bit of material science. It's the way that you can strengthen metal by putting it under stress. And then, anyway, so actually I'm going to do a video about it anyway, because I did all the research and I wrote it up. It just didn't fit in the final book. So there you are. Let's pick another one at random. Hubble measuring device. That did make it in. The Hubble telescope had a problem where part of the device that was being used when the mirror was being polished was out by a tiny amount, and so it wasn't focused. And so basically I've got loads and loads of these post-it notes. One concept per post-it note. Oh, the number in the bottom there's little 4-digit numbers. Is that on there? The little 4-digit codes. They were assigned randomly. Basically it's a hash, but a very lazy hash, just a random number. It's not a true hash, but I just wanted to give them random 4-digit codes, and I had one collision where the same post-it note was given the same number as the previous one. And every single post-it note links to a line in a spreadsheet where I keep track of all the concepts and all the references and what I've written in notes. So I've got a full database. I don't need these anymore. And I kept the post-it notes from my first book, and I don't know, they're in a file somewhere in a cupboard, maybe in my loft, I don't know. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be a waste just to chuck these out? And so there's maybe 400 or 500 of these. And so I'm going to give them away, right? I'm going to put one per book. You're going to have, it's a free post-it note. My theory is that Patreon people get post-its. I've left that running, that's fine. And so I'm going to separate these, and what I normally do when I give away something from a video or a project is I'll get a bit of paper that says this is officially a post-it note from when I was writing the book, and then I'll sign that, and then I'll put one of these on it. I don't know, you know what, let me know, would you rather I initial these, sign them on the front, sign them on the back, just put them with a little wee certificate that says it's official? Let me know. Whatever you want. I mean, I've got until March next year before I actually have to ship all this stuff out. So if you pre-order the book, put the word Patreon in capital letters, like all caps Patreon, when you check out on the pre-order system. And what I'll do is I'll take out all the books that say Patreon first when I'm fulfilling the pre-orders, and I'll give you the ones with these in them. There you are. And if more people who are Patreon supporters buy books than I have these, I'll do it on a first come, first serve. So the sooner you pre-order it, the more likely you are to get one of these. if there are fewer Patreon pre-orders than these, then I'll give it to the first remaining normal pre-orders, right? But I'm going to prioritize Patreon. And later on, when I do another video, I'm going to mention this to the general population. And I'll also mention that if they support me on Patreon, they can get in the queue, right? But I wanted to give the offer, first of all, to my current Patreon supporters before anyone else knows about it. So if you pre-order the book, check the word Patreon in all caps, because all the orders will be coming through when we're doing the final fulfillment. I just need to see Patreon, make sure it goes in the pile where you get one of these. All right, so I'm going to file these away. Do let me know how you'd like me to sign these, or, you know, if just the certificate's enough. I know people probably aren't going to actually use it as a post-it note. It's a nice touch though, right? You get the book and you actually get part of the process that was used to write the book. And that's why I believe that Patreon people get post-its. So that's it from me. As always, thank you for support, and it's a mere large number of months to go before my book is finally out.